Sometimes in life, we are so eager to be seen, to be heard, and to be validated that we forget the quiet strength that lies in absence. We think that the more present we are, the more loved we will be. We believe that if we give more, speak more, and show up more, people will never forget our worth. But the truth is, human nature often takes what is always available for granted. The constant presence of something, no matter how beautiful, can slowly become invisible. Just like the stars that only become noticeable when darkness falls, your absence can illuminate your worth in ways your presence never could. When you step back, you create a space for others to notice the gap you leave behind. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting the weight of your presence. It is not about manipulation, not about teaching someone a lesson. It is about allowing life to whisper what your words and actions could not. Sometimes people only realize the comfort you bring when you are no longer right to provide it. They only recognize the strength of your support when they feel the void of your distance. And it is in those moments of quiet withdrawal that appreciation is born. Think about the rhythm of music. If there were no pauses, no silence between the notes, the melody would be nothing but noise. The pauses give the music its beauty, its depth, and its meaning. The same is true for human connections. Constant closeness without space often loses its melody. But when you step back, when you let silence breathe, the bond has a chance to rediscover its harmony. Absence is not rejection. It is a gentle reminder that love, respect, and value cannot be demanded. They must be felt. And sometimes, feeling requires distance. Imagine the warmth of sunlight on a cold morning. You only truly long for it after a night of darkness. You do not yearn for what is always shining upon you. You long for it when it hides behind the clouds. The same way, your presence becomes more precious when you allow space for others to miss it. Stepping back is also an act of courage. It means resisting the temptation to always prove yourself, to constantly chase validation, or to be endlessly available. It is choosing to trust that what you are and what you give is already enough. By pulling away, you are not losing. You are preserving your energy, your dignity, and your light. You are silently saying, if I matter, my absence will be felt. If my love has weight, my distance will speak louder than my presence ever could. And in this quiet act, something beautiful happens. People begin to notice the little things they had overlooked. The laughter they took for granted, the comfort of your presence, the encouragement of your words. All of these begin to echo louder in your silence. They realize what life feels like without your presence. And in that realization, your value grows. Absence has a strange power. It awakens gratitude. And gratitude is the foundation of stronger, deeper, more meaningful connections. When you step back, you are not creating distance to punish, but to allow appreciation to bloom. You are not abandoning. You are reminding. You are not vanishing. You are teaching the beauty of presence by allowing the truth of absence. So never be afraid of stepping back. For it is in stepping back that your light shines brighter. It is in the silence that your worth is finally heard. And it is in absence that presence gains its true meaning. When you choose to step back, it is not always about the other person. More often, it is about you. It is about giving yourself the space to breathe, to reconnect with your own essence, and to rediscover the strength that may have been buried beneath the noise of constant giving. Sometimes, in our desire to be everything for everyone, we lose sight of who we are without them. We forget our own passions, our own voice, our own dreams, because we are too busy showing up in places where our presence is demanded, but not always cherished. Stepping back is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-preservation. It is a way of saying, I matter too, and I need to find myself again. Distance has a strange way of bringing clarity. When you are too close to something, you often cannot see it clearly. Think of a painting. When you stand too near, all you see are strokes of color. But when you step back, the picture unfolds and the beauty makes sense. In the same way, when you allow yourself a little space, you begin to see your life with a clearer perspective. You understand what truly matters, who genuinely values you, and where your energy is being nurtured or drained. This time of rediscovery allows you to remember your own worth. Independent of anyone's validation, it gives you a chance to look in the mirror and not just see someone defined by relationships, roles, or responsibilities, but a whole person with desires, talents, and a unique light. So often we pour ourselves so completely into others that we become a shadow of our true selves. Stepping back is the moment you gather those pieces again and remind yourself that you are more than the support you offer. You are more than the love you give. You are complete even in your solitude. And there is something deeply powerful about solitude. It teaches you the language of your own heart. It reminds you of the things that bring you joy, the passions that make your soul come alive, and the resilience that carries you through, even when no one is clapping for you. Solitude is where you meet yourself again, the version of you that might have been silenced under the weight of pleasing, performing, or proving. When you return to yourself, you come back stronger. You no longer show up from a place of emptiness or desperation. You show up from a place of wholeness. People feel the difference. They feel the energy of someone who knows their worth. Someone who does not need constant approval to shine. And it is often in this strength that others begin to see you with fresh eyes, appreciating the light that perhaps they had taken for granted. Stepping back, then, is not about creating distance to make others chase you. It is about creating space for you to chase yourself, to find your inner strength, your peace, your clarity, to remind yourself that your identity does not dissolve when others overlook you. Your identity is yours to define, and rediscovering it is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. So let distance be your teacher. Let solitude be your sanctuary. Use the quiet moments not to wonder if they miss you, but to remember the parts of yourself you may have forgotten. Because when you rediscover who you are, you return to the world not seeking to be seen, but shining so brightly that you cannot be ignored. There is a simple truth we often overlook. People recognize the value of something only when it is no longer easily within reach. A flower in a garden may be admired once or twice, but when it is cut away, the absence of its beauty suddenly feels striking. In the same way, when you are constantly available, people can forget the weight of your presence. It is not because you are not worthy, but because familiarity sometimes blinds people to the very things that should be treasured. Stepping back is what allows others to feel the difference between a life with you and a life without you. And that difference is where appreciation is born. Think about the sun. Every single day, it rises, it gives light, it warms the earth. Yet how often do we pause to truly appreciate it? We walk under its glow without even thinking. But the moment the sky turns dark, the moment the sun disappears, we realize how much we depend on its warmth. That is the reality of value. It shines brightest when it is temporarily hidden. Just like the sun, your presence becomes more precious when your absence allows others to feel the cold. This does not mean you should withdraw with bitterness or step back with resentment. It means you allow the natural rhythm of relationships to breathe. Constant giving, constant availability can suffocate the very bond you wish to protect. When you pause, when you create that space, you are not weakening the connection. You are giving it a chance to stretch and grow stronger. You are giving others the time to reflect on what your presence truly means in their lives. It is in that gap that gratitude has a chance to awaken. For when people notice the silence where your laughter once filled the room, or the emptiness where your words once offered comfort, they begin to feel the weight of your existence. It is human nature to realize the importance of something when it is no longer effortlessly there. And as painful as it may sound, it is also the most powerful way for your worth to be acknowledged. There is also beauty in the way absence magnifies the small things. The smallest gestures, once overlooked, suddenly hold greater meaning. A word of kindness, a smile, a shared moment. All these become treasures in memory when you are not around to offer them daily. This is how value is realized in the quiet replay of what has been lost, in the longing for what once felt ordinary, but was extraordinary all along. And while others are learning to value you, stepping back also allows you to value yourself. It teaches you that you do not have to shout to be heard. You do not have to overextend yourself to be seen. Your worth is not measured by how much you give without pause, but by the unique light you bring simply by being you. When others feel the emptiness in your absence, it is not a reminder of what you withheld. It is proof of what you always offered. So let them feel the silence. Let them experience the stillness that comes when your voice, your energy, your presence is no longer constant. Because only then will they realize that what you bring is not replaceable, not ordinary, and not something to be overlooked. And when they do, your value will no longer be assumed. It will be cherished. In the end, it is not about making others miss you. It is about creating the space for them to truly see you. It is about letting absence become the teacher that presence alone could never be. And in that realization, your worth shines brighter than ever before. There comes a time when you must protect your energy, because not everyone deserves unlimited access to it. We often give without limits. Our time, our words, our presence, believing that the more we pour, the stronger the bond will be. But what happens when pouring turns into draining? What happens when you give so much of yourself that there is nothing left for you? Protecting your energy is not selfishness. It is wisdom. It is choosing not to let your light burn out in the effort to keep others warm. Stepping back is sometimes the only way to preserve the very essence of who you are. Your presence has power, but only when it comes from a place of balance. If you constantly stretch yourself thin, always available, always accessible, your energy loses its depth. You begin to feel invisible, even while standing in the center of everyone's life. This is where stepping back becomes necessary, not to punish, but to protect. To remind yourself that you're well. Being matters just as much as anyone else's. When you retreat for a while, you reclaim your peace, your clarity, and your sense of balance. You give yourself permission to refill the cup that you have been endlessly pouring from. There is strength in knowing when to pause. Imagine a candle that never rests, burning endlessly until it turns into nothing but smoke. Now imagine that same candle being lit only when needed, its flame steady and bright. That is the difference between giving without boundaries and protecting your energy. When you preserve your flame, your presence remains powerful, your light continues to shine, and people recognize the value of your glow. Protecting your energy also teaches others how to treat you. If you are always there, no matter how you are treated, no matter how exhausted you feel, then people begin to believe that your presence requires no care. But when you step back, when you choose silence instead of explaining, when you choose distance instead of giving, you are teaching without words. You are teaching that access to your energy is not free. It must be earned through respect, through gratitude, through reciprocity. It is important to remember that your energy is sacred. It carries your love, your kindness, your wisdom, your creativity, everything that makes you uniquely you. To give it away carelessly is to risk losing yourself in the process. But to protect it, to step back when you feel depleted, is to honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, you return to others not empty, but whole. That wholeness is what makes your presence truly powerful. Many times, we fear that protecting our energy will push people away. But the truth is, those who truly value you will understand. They will notice the silence, they will miss the warmth, and they will learn to cherish it more when it returns. And those who do not notice, their absence is the gift of clarity. Protecting your energy reveals who is genuinely connected to you and who is merely consuming your presence without appreciating it. So do not be afraid to step back. Let people sit with your silence. Let them feel the space you leave behind. Protecting your energy is not about building walls. It is about building boundaries that keep your heart safe and your spirit alive. Because when your energy is preserved, your presence is more radiant. When your peace is intact, your light shines brighter. And when you step back for your own well-being, you are not just protecting yourself. You are also teaching the world the importance of valuing what is rare, sacred, and irreplaceable. Letting go is often misunderstood as weakness, when in reality it takes more courage to release than to hold on. We are conditioned to believe that strength lies in clinging tightly, in proving our loyalty by enduring even what breaks us. But true strength lies in knowing when to loosen your grip, when to choose distance instead of desperation, and when to honor yourself enough to walk away. Stepping back is not about giving up. It is about respecting your own worth enough to say, I will not stay in spaces where I am unseen, unheard, or unvalued. There is a quiet dignity in letting go. It means you are strong enough to carry the weight of silence, brave enough to face the uncertainty of space, and wise enough to know that not every connection is meant to be forced. Holding on tightly often comes from fear. The fear of being forgotten, the fear of being replaced, the fear of not being enough. But fear-driven closeness is not love, it is captivity. And in captivity, neither you nor the relationship can truly grow. Choosing to step back, to release with grace, is the act that sets both you and the other free to discover what truly matters. Strength in letting go also comes from trust. Trusting that if someone truly values you, they will not forget you simply because you are no longer constantly present. Trusting that if a bond is genuine, distance will not destroy it, it will deepen it. And trusting that sometimes the absence of your presence is the very thing needed for someone to realize your importance. It takes immense strength to step into that uncertainty, to allow time and silence to do the work that words and effort could not. And it is not just about others. It is about you too. Letting go gives you the space to reclaim the parts of yourself that were hidden beneath constant proving and endless giving. It allows you to breathe again, to feel light again, to stand tall again. When you step back, you learn that your worth is not tied to anyone's recognition. You learn that you do not need to beg to be valued, because value that is begged for is never real. You begin to understand that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to stop fighting for a seat at a table where your presence was never truly honored. Think of a bird held too tightly in someone's hand. If you keep gripping, its wings are crushed, its spirit broken. But when you open your hand, you give it a chance to soar. Sometimes people need to miss your presence in order to see the beauty of it. And sometimes you need to let go to realize how strong your wings have always been. That moment of release is not weakness. It is freedom. It is self-respect. It is strength dressed in silence. Of course, letting go is not without its ache. There will be moments of longing, moments of doubt, moments when the silence feels heavier than you expected. But in those moments, remind yourself that the strength of letting go lies in what it protects. It protects your dignity, your peace, and your light. It gives you back the energy that constant holding on would have drained. And in the long run, it teaches others that your presence is a privilege, not something to be demanded. so never mistake letting go for failure. The truth is, it is one of the most powerful victories you can ever claim. For it shows that you trust yourself enough to move through the silence, that you honor yourself enough to protect your spirit, and that you are strong enough to say, I am worth more than being taken for granted. And in that choice, you do not lose. You shine brighter than ever before. When you choose to step back, it is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your renewal. Distance is not an exit, but a doorway that leads you to return brighter, clearer, and stronger than before. There is something powerful about the silence you create when you allow space, because in that silence you are not only protecting yourself, you are preparing yourself. You are gathering your strength, realigning your purpose, and polishing the light within you, so that when you step forward again, your presence is impossible to ignore. Think of the moon. Every month, it disappears from the night sky, not because it has ceased to exist, but because it is moving through a cycle. When it returns, it shines fuller, brighter, and more breathtaking than before. In the same way, when you retreat for a while, you give yourself the time to heal, to grow, and to rediscover the brilliance that life's noise may have dimmed. And when you return, the world sees you with new eyes. Your absence does not diminish you, it amplifies the glow of your presence. Stepping back also allows you to return with clarity. When you are too immersed in a situation, emotions can cloud your vision. You react instead of reflect. You speak instead of listen. And you give without asking whether your giving is even appreciated. But when you distance yourself, the fog begins to lift. You start to see who values you without your constant effort. You begin to understand which relationships uplift you and which ones only drain you. You return, then, not as someone begging for recognition, but as someone who knows exactly where to stand and how to shine. And it is not just clarity you bring back, it is confidence. Confidence born not from external praise, but from the quiet assurance that you are enough even in your absence. When you return after choosing yourself, you radiate a new kind of strength. The kind of strength that does not seek approval, but simply exists in its own truth. People notice this. They notice the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself differently. They notice the light in you that cannot be dimmed by distance, and in noticing, they respect you more deeply. There is also beauty in the way stepping back sharpens your gratitude. When you distance yourself, you learn to value your own energy, your own time, your own voice. You stop scattering yourself in places where you are not appreciated and start investing yourself where love and respect are mutual. And because you return more selective, more intentional, your presence feels richer. It feels like a gift again, not something taken for granted. This is why stepping back makes you shine brighter, because you return not with emptiness, but with abundance. Those who truly care for you will notice the difference. They will see the strength you carry, the glow you radiate, and the peace you protect. They will realize that your absence was not a punishment, but a preparation. and they will cherish your presence more deeply, because now they know what life feels like without it. Those who do not notice. Their silence is your freedom, for it proves that your return does not belong in their world. So remember, stepping back is not about vanishing. It is about gathering yourself so that when you return, your light cannot be overlooked. It is about showing the world that your presence is not ordinary. It is extraordinary. And extraordinary things need space to renew, to grow, and to shine. When you step back, you are not dimming. You are preparing for the moment you blaze even brighter. And when that moment comes, your presence will not just be felt, it will be unforgettable.